Hi there and welcome back to Cooking with Fleur. We're in the lovely little town of Jacobs Bay today. Absolutely stunning little west coast town, and we will be making Hollandse erwtensoep, which in English means Dutch pea soup. Hello Chelsea, this is my dog Chelsea. Hello. Okay, go and lie down. No, you can't have the food. Right, so what I've had, actually let me put my apron on first. And what I've had cooking on the stove, actually in a Dutch oven, which is what they call these pots, is a lovely pork gammon. Now this has been going for a good 45 minutes. And this I'm going to add to the pea soup when I'm going to make it. You can use a pork knuckle, you can use shanks, but I like the smoky flavour of the gammon. It's got the bone in. So this we call a potjie pot. It's also a Dutch oven, three-legged pot, and I'm going to take this off. And now I'm going to just make a bit of space on the fire and put this over so we can start preparing our pea soup. Okay, so these are my ingredients. I have here roughly one very large chopped onion, one to 1.5. I have about 2 medium-sized turnips here, or 1 large. Then I have 2 large leeks, 3 celery sticks, 2 large carrots, and this is optional, if you like potato, add potato to it. I've got one that's just diced up here. Now, important for these vegetables, when you're making this pea soup, they have to cook all the way into the soup, so they have to be chopped quite fine. I've got about 30 grams of chopped parsley here. So now I'm going to take the gammon. So I'm going to take the gammon out of this pot now, and I'm obviously reserving these beautiful cooking juices. I cooked it on its own, just with a handful of salt. So this is a good thing to remember later on when we are actually making our soup. It's already got salt from the gammon itself because it's smoked, as well as from the salt that I added. Our pot has been heating up. The gammon, all of this goes in now with a whole lot of water. And you can stop. Going like that, no sauteing, no nothing. Right. Now obviously I'm going to be using this water as well, but I've got some water already that I'm going to add. So because it's pea soup, we have to add some split peas, and I'm going to be adding 1 kilogram of split peas. And then I'm also adding 500 grams worth of soup mix. It's got some barley, and it's got some split peas, and it's got some red lentils in there. So that gets added to the pot. Now I've got to carefully get this water to go into the pot. So I think I will use this bowl to do that. These pots are rather heavy, but they retain their heat beautifully. So this must now completely be covered. I'm not adding any salt or pepper at this stage. I'm going to do that right at the end. I'm going to put the lid on. Make sure to keep my fire going. This now needs to come to a good boil. Very important when you're doing this on your stove that you don't scrape the bottom of the pea soup during the cooking process, because pea soup always tends to stick to the bottom of your pot. So the right thing to do is to take a nice heavy based pot, or do it like this over the fire, which is actually lovely. It's such a beautiful day. Anyway, so this cooks for a good 3 to 3.5 hours, and it will thicken up. You have to make sure that you add water from time to time. and give it a stir, but don't scrape the bottom. When it's finally cooked, I'm going to add some beautiful Hollandse rookworst, which is a Dutch smoked sausage. I'll tell you all about that later. So without further ado, I'm also going to be making a little potbrood, a little pot bread. Okay, so let's go and make some pot bread. I have here 750 grams of a brown bread flour. To that I'm going to add 1 sachet of instant dry yeast. I'm adding 1 sachet of instant dry yeast. I'm going to add some celery salt. I'm going to add some sunflower seeds, and some oats. And a little bit of pepper for good measure. And warm water, just enough to make a nice little dough. So this is a really simple little pot bread. It doesn't get kneaded. It will have to stay and rise a little bit before we bake it. But you could be adding lots of different flavors to it. You could add olives and sun-dried tomatoes, pepper juice, cheese, onion, sweet corn, anything you really that takes your fancy. But I'm keeping this quite simple because you know, we don't want to detract from the pea soup. So this is what it looks like now. And I'm going to position it next to the fire so that it can start rising a little bit. So that little pot will probably stand there for about half an hour, rising maybe up to 45 minutes. Like I say, the pea soup is going to take a long time. And then we will bake it again on a tripod. Let's have a look inside of the pot. So as you can see, this is slowly starting to come up to a boil. I'm just going to play with my fire a little bit, get a little bit more heat under the pot, and we're just going to leave it and check it every 20 minutes or so. As you can see, it's starting to get dark, but my little potbroodje has been rising nicely. I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of coarse salt over the top, and some sunflower seeds. Also scatter over the top, and then I'm going to put the lid on and put it at the back on this tripod here. And I'm at the moment not putting too many coals underneath because I think the residual heat from the pot is will actually be almost enough for now. We want this to go quite slowly. I'm just going to put a few coals under so that it gets a more even heat. Okay, so I'm going to have to turn the pot a few times because it's going to get more heat from this side than it is from the bottom. So I'll have to turn it every now and again. And I just want to show you what the pea soup looks like now. It's really going beautifully. I don't know if you can see, it's rather dark. And let's leave that for later. Hi, so we are actually now on the next day because it got a little bit too dark to film last night. So basically what I did is I let the soup just die out. I let the fire die out. I covered it with a lid, but as you can see, it's a tripod. What you need to do, if you're not doing this on the fire, you're doing this at home on the stove, and you need to leave your pea soup to cool down, you need to have airflow underneath it. So put it on something like this so that the airflow can go under if you're going to leave it overnight, because pea soup tends to turn sour if you don't do that. So in the tripod pot, absolutely perfect. So that's what we did, and now the following thing that we need to do is 20 minutes ago I have added to our pot a Hollandse rookworst, which is a Dutch smoked sausage. You need to cook it for 20 minutes. If you want to cook it separately in some water and you reuse that water to add to your soup, if you find your soup is becoming too thick, you can do that. But I just put it straight into the pot. It's been going now for 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to take it out, slice it up and put it back into. Okay, so there we have it. Our beautiful smoked Dutch sausage. I'm going to just slice it up. There we go, sausage back in the pot, and that's actually now perfectly done. I've added more sausage, more Hollandse rookworst previously. If you can't source it, this actually particular one was given to me by a Dutch man who has had it made on a farm here in South Africa, and absolutely stunning rookworst, so thank you very much. But if you can't source it locally or anywhere close by, you're more than welcome to use any type of smoked sausage, like a Vienna or a bockwurst even, or a knackwurst also works. Frankfurters, any of those style sausages will work. Ideally, of course, you want your Dutch smoked Hollandse rookworst. Right, so this is bubbling away and it's ready, and I'm going to now take our little pot bread off. And it looks absolutely stunning. Okay, time to dish some lovely Hollandse erwtensoep. Okay, so let's have a look at our beautiful bread over here. You're welcome to slice it as a bread, of course, but I quite like slicing it into these type of shapes. Beautiful for dipping. And there we are. Ooh, nice and warm. Let's get a bit of butter on that. Oops. Try not to mess when you do this. Oh, look how that's melting in there. Absolutely beautiful. And there you have it. Our Dutch pea soup with home-baked potbroodjie. Okay, so just another little interesting fact. In the Netherlands we call this erwtensoep, we call it Snert. But I live in South Africa and the word Snert, I was informed, actually means nonsense. So I've been making a whole pot of nonsense. I thought that was quite funny. And just to say that this particular recipe is dedicated to one of my best friends, Saikis. She comes from the West Coast where I'm at right now, and I hope you absolutely love it, and I hope that you will make it for me one day. Time to taste. I have been tasting the entire time, so I actually can tell you ahead of time that this is absolutely delicious. Let's try this little breadie. Bye guys. Please join us next time. We're going to make some more Dutch food. Absolutely loving this. Enjoy.